What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We're just on our little cool down forest walk, I guess you could say. We did a little 5K today. It wasn't a bad run. It was a little cooler than most runs, which was nice. We did feel a bit sluggish. I think it was that extra piece of pizza that I ate last night, but I was pondering on something. I was thinking of an idea, not really an idea, just a situation. But topic being the trap that you might find yourself in when you begin your running journey, when you start any sort of athletic endeavor. It could be pottery class or, ow, freaking bugs. For example, my situation, I've always wanted to run a big race. I've watched the Tough Mudders, I've watched CrossFit, all that stuff, but I've never got up off the couch and done something for an excess amount of time. I went for a run once or twice a week, and then I took 3 weeks off. I signed up for a big race in a couple of months. I realized how out of shape I was. I used to be, athlete of the year all through school. That slowly faded away. Becoming an adult, you get all these responsibilities. You maybe let your health and your fitness go down the drain a little bit when you're busy doing other things. And don't get me wrong, that's a totally acceptable thing. People get busy, but it was really wearing on me. I figured it was about time. Let's sign up for a big race and let's start training. So we started with the 5K. It's a breeze now, but my first 5K, I was so freaking proud. The very first time I went out running after excess amount of years being off, I ran 2 kilometers and every muscle in my body hurt for days. Like I wasn't used to running, and that was very frustrating for me. So I kept running, kept doing it every few weeks, and tackled my first 5K. So I jumped on social media, jumped on Instagram, started liking all the running posts. I started following people doing runs. I'd follow a few people who did 5Ks. They'd be getting sub 20-minute 5Ks. And I said, okay, well, I could maybe do that. I could work towards that. And with more time on social media, I saw people doing 10Ks. I saw people doing half marathons. And that was really impressive for me. So I upped the ante. I started running more. I started putting in the work. And before you know it, I was seeing people doing marathons on social media. I didn't even know they existed, but people were doing like 250 kilometer races, which are insane. Kudos to those guys, because that's insane. You're running for days. You're running with no sleep. The training and the prep and the discipline for that is out of this world. So that's amazing for those people. But you realize that you're never going to run out of people who are running more than you. You're never going to run out of people who are doing more, who have more time, who have more money, who go a further distance, who have a quicker pace, all of the above, right? So here I am, I finish a 5K, I'm super proud of myself, and all of a sudden my whole feed is just people doing ultra marathons, 15-year-olds doing something that I couldn't dream of doing in my lifetime. And I'll be honest, when it's in your face, and I'm guilty of spending too much time on social media, but when you see it constantly, it really demotivates you. So I realized the comparison ladder, it never ends. And it goes both ways. There's people who can't even do 1K, they struggle to even walk. They've got problems with their feet, and they're looking up to you. So that comparison ladder that you might find yourself on, it goes both ways. I realized that there's a big difference between awareness and discouragement. You see those people at the top of the food chain in your athletic division, in your race, in your sport, and you can let it demotivate you, or you can realize that you're not going to be perfect. There's always going to be room for improvement. I've learned that the key is seeing things as perspective and not personal failure, and that's something that's already helped me on my 2-3 month running journey. So the one big thing that I've started doing that I think you should do, or anyone watching this or anyone who's getting into running, is compare yourself to you. Compare yourself to your past times, your past distances. My thing is the 5K. I've been trying to up my pace on the 5K and get a little bit better each time. I kind of set out doing 7-8 minute pace. I do a 5K and I'd be a little bit tired, but just today I said, you know what, we're going to keep it sub 6-minute miles and see how we do. I'm not sub 20-minute 5K anymore, but I shaved some time off my last 5K, so we're happy. And I think that's the best way to personal growth. I think I shaved 2 minutes off my 5K is just as valid as I finished first in the race. So the strive for the number one mentality. And, you know, I've learned all this stuff, but at the same time, having that drive to be number one motivates you. This is going to create a relentless drive inside you. Even though you know there's a number one out there, you're being your own number one. You're doing everything you can to improve yourself, and you're not basing it on anyone else's statistics. The social media aspect skews reality into, you know, another dimension. You've got pro athletes, you've got, you know, world athletes, world record runners, people who started running straight out of the womb. They just put on a pair of sneakers and they went. I think that social media has become such a dangerous place in regards to comparison. And that's why I don't mind putting up my videos and essentially embarrassing myself. Like, I remember doing some of those videos where running with a 50-pound pack and I was dead. Or what did I do? You know, the half marathon on the road and I couldn't feel any muscle in my body. But that's just a realistic progression of someone's athleticism. And you can see and you can look at that and say, okay, this guy's kind of like me. You know, he's not the best at something. He's got these aches and pains similar to me. He struggles with this. But when you look on social media and you see these people on Instagram, it's like, they're freaking Superman. Is anything wrong with them? Do they struggle with anything? And if you think about it, those people who are doing 250 kilometers on Instagram, that's not their first race. They started at 5 kilometers too. They started at 2 kilometers. Everyone starts from somewhere, and I don't doubt those people put in the work, put in the time, and it's years since they began that they are at that mark. Don't get me wrong, you can train harder than someone, you can get to your goals quicker than someone else can get to their goals, just based on discipline and motivation and, you know, distractions. But every single person is going to have their own journey with their own hiccups, their own road bumps, speed bumps, you know, and their own accomplishments. Something that I've done is, you know, I'll look at those Instagram profiles, I'll look at those YouTubers who go above and beyond, who are athletes who I didn't even think existed on this planet, but I'm going to use them as inspiration. I'm not going to use it as pressure, because what I tell myself is, if I put in the work and I put in the effort, I can be in their spot in 5 years. So when I'm doing these runs, I'm doing 5K, you know, I creep up to 10K and that's getting the heart going. I feel pretty crappy. All I can think about is, if I keep doing it at this pace, I can be on their level. And that's something that's helped me out of that trap about comparing yourself to others. By seeing people's posts and seeing how people present them on social media, it's helped me a ton. So your journey's valid, my journey's valid. 5K can mean the exact same thing as a 200K. It just matters what it means to you, right? Progress is relevant to your starting point, your goals, your circumstances. And that's the main thing that you have to take with you. So all in all, you know, it's just something I was thinking about, and something that I'm happy that I got out of the loop of thinking of, is that there's always going to be a bigger race. There's always going to be a faster runner, a steeper climb. But if you keep chasing the better version of you, there's going to be someone else who's comparing themselves to you. And so, yeah, you're never going to run out of people going faster, further. But you're never going to run out of chances to surprise yourself. So keep running your race at your pace, and the rest is going to take care of itself. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next video. I don't know what it's going to be or when it's going to be, but yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.